Your fear of starting a business. Welcome to the JSK online channel. Remember to subscribe. Remember to click the bell icon so you never miss an upload. And remember to like, share the video with a friend so that you share the valuable information and will grow the platform. You get me? We're trying to help 100,000 businesses, trying to grow the economy and make the world a better place. My respect. See you on the other side. Hey guys, so recently an associate of mine asked me how did I manage to do entrepreneurship full time, right? And that gave me the idea for this video. So my associate, he has a business, right? But he also does 9 to 5, so he's juggling both, right? And he's afraid to take that leap to say leave the 9 to 5 and do entrepreneurship full time, which is a fear many of us faced, right? Many of us face that fear of not having that cash flow, that guaranteed cash flow, right, to help maintain our lifestyles, to help pay for bills, to help deal with personal and other issues, right? But what is important is that you believe in yourself. It is important that it is imperative that you believe in yourself and you surround yourself with people who has almost the same vision as you or has the exact vision as you, and people who can motivate you and believe in you and also tell you the truth when it's necessary, you know, tell you the hard, cold truth, right? How did I manage to do entrepreneurship full time? I followed my plan to the letter. I followed my plan, and what didn't work, I discard of it and tweaked my plan so that my plan became almost perfect, right? And so that is one of the things you have to do in order to do entrepreneurship full time. You have to have a plan and follow that plan to the letter, right? You have to always be researching and upgrading your knowledge and your passion and the industry you have a passion to be in and grow, whether it be your career or business in that industry, right? Always learning. You have to be always learning so that you can tweak your plan effectively and follow that plan effectively, right? The second thing is to know your resources. Yeah, when I say know, I don't mean know the resources. I mean know the resources like you should know yourself, right? Know your resources. You have to know your resources. That way you can use the resources at your disposal effectively, adequately, and timely, right? Because that is very important, right? To use those resources effectively, adequately, and timely. Yeah, so know your resources, right? Of course, it's a startup, so your resources are limited in terms of capital, in terms of personnel, in terms of raw materials, in terms of a lot of things. You have limited resources, but don't start a business unless you're passionate about it, and unless you have the resources necessary to start that business, right? If you don't have the resources necessary, go find the resources necessary to start that business, right? Nowadays we see a lot of institutions trying to help entrepreneurs, right? We live in a world where nobody is doing anybody any favors unless it benefits them, right? So reach out to these institutions at your own discretion, at your own risk. There's a risk in every move you make as an entrepreneur, but that comes to my next point of doing entrepreneurship full time. Make sure you take calculated risk. Calculate your risk, right? Please, I get overcast. It's about to rain. So back to what I was saying. calculate the risk you have to take in order to achieve your goals, and be willing to take that risk, or know if you are willing to take that risk. And the next thing is to believe in yourself. Surround yourself with people who can teach you. Surround yourself with people who are at the level you are trying to get to, right? Find those people and reach out to them and ask them if you can either shadow them for a day or interview them and find out what did they do, so that for them to reach that level, because you are also interested in reaching that level. And I'm sure many of them will reach back out and gladly give you the information needed. Information is the best friend. Know it, stay on top of it, and be willing to learn and be open-minded. Information is the best friend. How else I managed to do entrepreneurship full-time? I failed at 3 startups. And so doing entrepreneurship, that didn't deter me though, because that only taught me, and that only made me more motivated to seek out the right path and right advice. And so failing at those 3 startups, I went and I learned. I learned from people like Dan Locke, Khalil Reynolds. There is a person I found recently that I also learned from, Errol Stevens. He was a footballer, and he's now an investor and a real estate Airbnb rental person. So I learned from those people because they are in markets that I am interested in, and so I learned from them. So seek out the persons you can learn from. Big up Donald McDowell. That guy taught me a lot. That man taught me a lot, right? Many respects to that man. He taught me so much about music industry, about where business in Jamaica, where the infrastructure in Jamaica is coming from to where it is now. So I learn a lot from a lot of people, and so I never stop learning, and so that is what enables me to do entrepreneurship full-time. Another thing that enables me to do entrepreneurship full-time is saving. I've been saving since 2nd grade in primary school, right? And that enabled me to be ready for disasters pending and so forth. That is why I was so prepared for COVID-19, because cash reserve is one of my biggest assets. I try to keep cash reserve as much as possible, because every cent counts. With people, the way people do things is, as their income increases, so too their expenses. That is not the right way to do things, I believe, right? So as your income increases, so too your savings should increase. Your expenses should remain the same or go lower. And if your expenses is increasing, then you're doing something wrong. So that is why we have so much fears. And the reason why we have so much fears with doing entrepreneurship full-time is because we have so much expectations of entrepreneurship. We feel like as we start this business should take off. It's not like that. So other things I did in order to do entrepreneurship full-time was I also collaborated with businesses that can teach me, right? I collaborated, meaning that I worked for these businesses, whether it be volunteering or doing a summer job there for a month or 2, just so I could learn the behaviors of customers, so I could observe the operations of the business. That way I knew what I wanted to implement in my business. That way I could structure my business and create and hire the right people, outsource the right companies to work with my business and so forth. So you have to, you see, it all comes down to the plan, you know. You have to know what you need and go for what you need. Find what you need. You get me? So, and yourself is your biggest resource. Know that. Yourself is your biggest resource. So let's recap. So I followed my plan to the letter. I know my resources, meaning I know the limits of my resources. I know them like I know myself, right? I surrounded myself with people, mentors. I watched people I look up to like Dan Locke and Patrick Bet-David, Errol Stevens, Khalil Reynolds, Those just to name a few. I worked with businesses that could teach me, that were in the industry I am looking to be in, so I could learn operations and implement certain strategies and other techniques and human resource techniques in my business. What else? I researched, made sure I learned. I even went back to school, yes, to learn, so I could have the information, because information is a best friend. Remember I said that I think I said that in the earlier part of this video. Information is a best friend. What else did I do? Budget. That's what I didn't talk about. Budget. Now, budgeting. Now, the way how our mind works is, if our income increases or we come into some extra cash, we should find extra expenses. I don't know how we are wired this way, but it's just the way we are wired, and that's not right. Right? With extra income should come extra savings. Right? Your expense should not move. Try your best to keep that expense at the same level, or try your best to get that expense lower. Right? So I budget. I have a budget that I try my best not to pass. I pass it once in a while, because sometimes you want to enjoy yourself with the guys. You want to go out sometimes. You want to enjoy yourself sometimes. So I do pass it once in a while, but I am very disciplined. I'm self-disciplined to my movement, my cars, and so I am mostly disciplined and able to keep under my budget. And I am always looking for ways to carry down that expense column. I need that expense column to come lower. So things I have done, especially in COVID-19, I was able to bring that expenses down for, well, not really, because I had to buy quarantine food. So yeah, but COVID-19 really showed people around me that I am prepared. That's what I call it anyway. I'm just prepared. And how I am prepared? Because I am disciplined, and I always try to save anything. I try to save, and every cent counts. Every cent counts. Right? If you don't have to spend, do not spend. It is best not to accumulate any extra expenses, because every cent needs to go to your business. You need that business to be flourishing. You need that business to be doing good. You need to always invest in knowledge, invest in assets, right? That's how I have been able to maintain my full-time entrepreneurship, right? That's how I was able to do entrepreneurship full-time. I diversified my income streams, right? And I only did that 3 years ago. Yeah, before that I was just trying my best to survive, you get me? And that's the funny thing, you see, survival, that's what keeps us fit, because if you need that new shoes, you're going to find a way to get that new shoes. If you need credit, you're going to find a way to get it. And so that's what kept me surviving. And so, but 3 years ago, I learned that I need to diversify my income streams. And so that's what I did. And that enabled me to even went into entrepreneurship more. You get me? So investments. Yeah, so that's how I was able to do entrepreneurship full-time, guys. If I remember anything, I might do a part 2 to this. But for now, these are the things I did. You get me? So, keep cash reserve, have cash reserve, emergency fund, invest in an emergency fund, and always have cash reserve, because you see, things like COVID-19, you have to be prepared for that, and you don't know when those things are coming. If you found this video valuable, informative, and you like it, click the like button, click the subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend that JSK is online, sharing valuable information. Don't keep the information to yourself. We want to help 100,000 businesses, or even more if we can. We're working hard. We want to help and give back to our economy. We want to help to build our economy. So Help us do that. Don't keep the information to yourself. Tell a friend that JSK is here sharing valuable business tips and information to grow, maintain, and sustain that business. Let's build businesses. Let's build Jamaica. Let's build the world. Let's build the human race. Respect. Big up.